you have ever visited the Cincinnati Nature Center, it's between Milford and Eastgate over there on the east side. A couple of you? Okay, great. I'm the education director there. I've been working there for about 20 years. The Nature Center's been around since 1965. Some people get confused. They think it's part of the Cincinnati Park District because it has the word Cincinnati. But it's a private nonprofit founded by a dedicated group of environmentalists back when a lot of nature centers were founded during the heyday of environmentalism in the 60s and early 70s. We have 2 different sites. One of the sites is on Tealtown Road, and we have about 1,000 acres, 14 miles of hiking trails. We have something called a nature playscape for kids, which is basically trying to recreate what kids might have experienced growing up in a different era when they could go to grandma's farm and run around in back 40 and there wasn't a rule about don't pick, don't climb, don't dig, don't go off the trail. We need to give kids a place where they can experience nature firsthand if we want them to grow up to feel like they belong in nature and love nature. So that's a little special feature we have. Primarily our mission is to enrich lives by inspiring people through nature. We want to connect people to nature. And on the surface level, it's pretty clear if you don't love and care about nature and understand it, you'll probably make poor decisions about using pesticides and herbicides and how you vote and what you eat. Basically, we do want to create a generation of people who are concerned about protecting and preserving the environment. But on another level, it's very personal. It's about getting people outside because it's good for us. It's good for kids in particular, but it's good for all of us. We've got studies. There's a book by Richard Louv called Last Child in the Woods. Has anybody heard of that book? Richard Louv has caused a national movement, Children in Nature Network it's called, or Leave No Child Inside. And the idea being that kids need to get outside. Some people are really radical anti-technology, you know, gotta get outside without the technology. My husband and I love technology. That doesn't mean we don't also love nature. When we get outside, what we find is, especially with kids, the research shows that they have less behavioral problems, less symptoms of ADD. They do better in school. They do better in their social relationships. They feel less stressed. There was a study at a university of military personnel, and those who spent an extended period of time outside before and after active duty had less symptoms of post-traumatic stress disorder. There's a lot of reasons why being outside is in our genes. We need to be outside. And so just for humanitarian reasons, we want people to get outside and connect to nature. And then of course, we also want them to understand science. So most of what we do is either based on science or interpretation of science, basically helping lay people understand science. So we might bring in guest speakers from universities who might be speaking on a level up here, and we help them get it to a level where everybody can understand what's being said. And so that's important to us as well. Now, one of the things that we try to do at the Nature Center is build a sense of community, of people who really kind of all value the environment. They want to share their knowledge, experience, and values with nature with other people. And what we found is the research says that social influence is one of the most important things when it comes to changing somebody's mind. You all know how hard it is to change an adult's mind. And the only way to really make a difference is to be influenced by somebody you know and trust. So a relative, a friend, a neighbor you really get along with, somebody like that. So what we try to do is basically support those people who already love nature and encourage them to share what they experience at the Nature Center and what they learn with people in their community. We also heavily depend on our volunteers. We have over 300 volunteers, and those volunteers help influence the other visitors that come to the property, or in some cases, as in my husband Tim, who's a volunteer with the Astronomy Club at the Nature Center, they go off-site and do outreach into the community, sharing their passion and knowledge. We have a lot of really knowledgeable members and volunteers, people who have a specialty in butterflies, for instance. We have a new initiative called the Milkweed and Monarchs Initiative, where we're trying to help people understand the plight of the monarch, the drastic decline in their population. Not only monarchs, but all pollinators are in jeopardy, which means we're all in jeopardy, and what it's going to take to try to bring them back and protect them, therefore protecting our food sources and our biodiversity. So we have a group of people who specialize in that, volunteers who do monarch counts and do censuses of the butterflies on the property. We have volunteers who do the same for bluebirds. We have volunteers who do the same for vernal pools to see what amphibians are living on our property. We have other volunteers that go into the community and talk about things like astronomy. We have volunteers that work with school kids to help them understand the environment in which they live, volunteers that help remove invasive species on our land, and many more types of volunteers. So if you're interested in the environment and in hanging out with like-minded people and being healthy and fit in the outdoors, I'm telling you, we have people that are in their 90s that are still hiking the trails and smoking, the school kids that come out. Being outside every day in nature, hiking and everything, keeps people fit in a way that's a lot more exciting than the treadmill. So that's another reason for your own health to volunteer, or at least to become a member. Now, membership does cost something. We have a daily admission if you want to try it out. It's $8 for adults and $3 for kids, or you can become a member for anywhere from $35 to $75, and that gets you access to the property 364 days a year, sun up till sundown. So we have a website, cincynature.org, and if you received one of those free packets of milkweed seeds that were out front, you'll see the website is listed on there. The reason we're giving out these milkweed seeds is because it's one way to let people know that sometimes it's as simple as helping enhance the habitat in your own backyards. Everybody can put a few seeds in the ground, and that can help feed the monarchs because they have diminishing areas to eat.
Do you need more volunteers?
We always need more volunteers.
I know. I already have her email.
We're there.
Okay, good.
Anybody want to volunteer at Cincinnati Nature Center?
Oh, that's
There you go.
fantastic.
Done.
You know,
So-
we have some really cool volunteer opportunities, such as one of the things that Tim does is a trailside naturalist station. If there's a topic that you're interested in, or you would like to learn more about and become interested in, for Tim, it's solar astronomy. It's completely drop-in. You just say, hey, you know, it's going to be a nice weekend next weekend. I'd like to bring my equipment out and set up and talk to people who come by. So you don't have to commit to a certain time period. You don't have to commit to a certain number of days a year. It's really flexible. It's intended for busy people who have an interest that they'd like to share when they can fit it into their lives, and that's called our Trailside Ambassador Program or our Trailside Naturalist Program. One of the things that we do is try to build community, and one of the ways we build community is with our special interest clubs. So we have a herpetology club that meets there. Herpetology is reptiles and amphibians. We have a nature camera club, and we have a Boomers and Beyond club for folks of that time period who want to get together and socialize and walk together. And we also have our astronomy club.